Hey guys, happy Tuesday. It's me, Pivot's Queen. This is normally my Monday markups, but I'm doing it on Tuesday. Yesterday was a holiday, it was Memorial Day. So I decided to go ahead and take that day off, but I'm here to show you my analysis of this week. Honestly, this week is going to be, I feel like, a lot of consolidation because there were so many big moves last week. But it's also NFP week. So NFP week is non-farm payroll. So if you aren't familiar with that, it tends to be kind of like volatile markets. They tend to move really fast because there's a lot of news being released. So be very careful trading this week or even sit out this week. I'm just going to go ahead and go over what I see coming up this week. And I'm starting with the DXY. So last week I had this drawn up. I was expecting it to come to this blue line and kind of bounce up from here, but I did draw this top trend line and say wait for it to break this trend line. What ended up happening is it ended up breaking and retesting this trend line and coming down to this green zone, but it did break this top side trend line. So what I'm expecting now is I am expecting it to kind of come back down and retest, come back up. But I'm interested to see if it's actually gonna bounce around in here, and that's why I said consolidation. Normally after big moves in the market, it is consolidation. So if we look back, like this was, honestly, this buy move was crazy, but it was like big move, consolidation, even in here, big move, consolidation, big move, consolidation, big move, consolidation. That's just what the market does. So I'm expecting it to consolidate, but ultimately I think it's going to come back up here to test this trend line. So it could come here and bounce down, or it could break top side and keep going up. So that's why I said it's an interesting week because we're kind of like right in the middle of a move. But that's what I'm expecting for the DXY. Remember, I go over the DXY because pairs that end in USD, like AUDUSD, EURUSD, GBPJPY, they're going to do the opposite of the DXY most times. And then pairs that have USD in the front, like USDJPY, USD CAD, I don't really trade that many USD front pairs, but they're going to move with the DXY. Last week with Nas was beautiful. I already went over that in my previous video, so I'm just going to kind of go over what I'm expecting for this week. So I drew all these trend lines on like the last videos. If you want to see how I even like made these trend lines, check out the last video. So I just kind of have them sitting here, and at the start of the week, I did get into sales. I got in kind of early before it broke this trend line, but it broke and retested this trend line before selling down to this zone. And that was my overall take profit. So now we're in an interesting place because I was expecting price to like if it broke this trend line to go and test this trend line ahead of it here, but if it respected this trend line, maybe come back to down to this level, and it could even come back down to this trend line maybe. But it's in an interesting area. I do have a fib on this. So the buy fib from last week played out, so I drew a new fib, and it's kind of hard to see with my pivot lines. I normally like to have them off when I look at this. All right, so I have a lot of different fibs up here. Okay, this is the fib I want to see. So this buy fib, this came to be a 23 retracement. So if price, respects this trend line, it could continue up either to this trend line, to this minus 27. If it respects this trend line, it could come lower, and that's what I said, maybe back down to this trend line, because that would be like the 50. and then kind of see what price does from there. But it's in an interesting spot. I wish I had recorded on Sunday, because that really was the move I was looking for this week, and I could honestly sit out the rest of the week just from that move alone, because that was like 3,000 pips. But we'll see, and I'll try to keep you guys updated in the Telegram chat how price kind of goes from here, because we're kind of trapped in this zone, and I'm expecting price to kind of bounce around in this zone. So I really want to see a breakout of this area. So that's kind of what I'm looking for NAS. With my pivots on, we actually are in a consolidation zone. So I know I haven't went over pivots in depth. I was just going over it piece by piece, honestly. This area right here is a consolidation area, so price tends to consolidate in here. So that's why I really want to see where price breaks out to. But if we do break above this trend line, I'd be looking to take it to this level. Again, if we respect this trend line, or even if we respect this zone and come back down, that's my target. And then to the top of this trend line would be my target, just to see what price does from there, because price could come here and then bounce back up. It's kind of in an either or area. So that's my analysis for NASDAQ. Hopefully that made sense. All right, AUDUSD. Last week I did sell down to the bottom of this channel. Price did kind of break out the bottom side of this channel, but it ultimately, so the green is my 4 hour. So I had a 4 hour channel that price was traveling up. It broke and retested that channel and then kept moving up. It almost hit the -61 of my buy fib. So now for this week, it kind of retested and came here, but I'm actually, it's kind of in an iffy area. So I wouldn't be surprised if price actually broke above here and came back up into this area. But I also wouldn't be surprised if price respected this trend line and sold down. And that's why I do these smaller zones in here. Price could come back to this zone, or price could come back to this green zone. So again, if we could see a consolidation, price could bounce around in here. So honestly, I would just draw trend lines and set alerts to see what price does at those trend lines. If this breaks, kind of wait for a retest, and I would take it up to this level. And then if it respects the trend line, I would be taking it down here or down to this green zone. But that's what I see for AUDUSD. AJ, so I didn't go over AJ last Monday, and I ended up trading at AJ last week. So we were trading within this 4 hour channel here, right? And then price broke out of that channel. It broke above my green zone. So I ended up trading it to this blue zone. And I have this trend line here. So I'm looking to see if price is going to come back to this trend line, bounce up, or break and retest this trend line, retest this zone, and then come down to this green zone, maybe back to this trend line. And then if price does respect this trend line and keep moving up, I'd be looking to TP at this purple level, which is close to my -61.8 on my buy fib. And then if it breaks above there to this blue area. But yeah, so that's where I'd be looking to take it if it buys, and then wait for a break and retest of this trend line for sales. EURUSD, it's been in this up channel. And I've honestly just kind of been taking sales every time it got to the top of the channel. So it broke and retested this trend line, and I took a sell down to here. This would have been a great entry for a buy. I just wasn't looking at my charts at that time, or looking at EURUSD in particular. Then I also got into a little sell when it broke this trend line here. And it almost sold down to the bottom of this channel, but I ended up TPing out around that level. So let's see. So I was like 40, 45, 50 pips. I'm not mad at that. And so now we're here. There was 4 hour sell divergence. However, I wouldn't be surprised if EU pushed up a little more before settling down. Again, keep an eye on the DXY, because if the DXY starts buying from where it's at right now, EU can start selling. But if the DXY comes back down to test that trend line, like I was thinking, this could push up either to this green zone or up into this area if it breaks above that. But if it respects this trend line, or if it comes here and respects this channel, I'd be looking to take it down just zone by zone, ultimately down to this zone. And then I would wait and see what price does from there, if it's going to continue with this buy trend that it's making, or if it's going to sell back down to the bottom of this channel, especially if it comes up here, because this is the top of my 4 hour channel. So I'll be watching this and kind of set my alarm on this trend line to see what price does. Right now it looks like it's respecting my trend line, but the market's about to close, so I would kind of wait for New York session to see what price is really going to do. GJ was another one I didn't go over last Monday. Let's see. I actually haven't traded GJ since I sold it here. I just kind of knew there was going to be consolidation, so I was like, no, I'm good. It did. So I have minor trend lines in here. So it broke this minor trend line. That was a break and retest. I could have sold back down to this green zone. Then I drew another trend line. Price actually respected this trend line, broke this black 1 hour trend line, and went up to this zone here. On my fib, on my buy fib, this was a 61.8 retracement. So this is the -27. So I wouldn't be surprised if price broke up here, but it could come back down to test this trend line first. Trend line. So price could come back to test this trend line first before moving up. So I would really just wait for it to break above this blue zone to see if we could buy up to this -27, and then wait to see what price does from there, or up to this green zone. This is my 4 hour zone. And if price, respects the zone, I would still probably wait on the break of this trend line, or if it forms like a new minor trend line in here, wait for the break and retest of that trend line, and then sell back down and just kind of use your zones for like your TP levels. So hopefully that makes sense. But that's kind of where I see it. We're kind of in a lot of like either or. It's not really clear because price did really clean moves, so I can expect consolidation. Gold. So I was saying if gold broke above this box, you could buy it up to this next zone. I'm gonna put, because it did hit a zone, minor zone. And I probably should have did that last week, but hopefully you took some profits, because that was really nice profits. But it didn't reach all the way up to that level. And I drew a trend line here, and price broke and retested that trend line. And it looks like it's already moving down. And I'm going to do this button here. So I would be looking to see if price is probably going to do this before I even upload the video. But sell down to this level and then see what price does from there. And I'm also going to draw I'm gonna draw this as a trend line. Okay, because price could come back to this trend line. That's just in such an interesting position. So honestly, I'm probably not even gonna trade gold this week because I have these areas marked up. So kind of just do with them as you will. But we could see price bounce here. We are near a weekly level, and when we're near a weekly or monthly level, we do tend to see a lot of consolidation in the area, and gold is known for being very consolidated. But those are my levels for gold. I really don't trade gold that much, but I try to mark it up for you guys. So that's all of my pairs. That's all of my pairs. So that's it for this week. Hopefully this video was kind of short. Sorry it wasn't very like clear, like this is what it's gonna do, because honestly we're in areas where we're gonna see consolidation. Hopefully next week is a lot clearer because it'll be post NFP. Be cautious of the news. I do have my FX book economic calendar, so this was all the news already from this week. I really pay attention to like USD news, and so we have some news on Wednesday. I know we have news on Thursday, and then heavy news on Friday. That's not even all. Okay, that's all the news. I advise if you're not used to trading NFP, definitely don't trade on Friday because it's very volatile. Be cautious this week because there is a lot of news, not just for USD, but like all around. USD is just what I pay attention to. So be careful trading with the news this week. Like I said, I'll try to send updates in the Telegram. And I will see all of you guys next week. Hopefully everyone has super cool weeks. See you guys next Monday.